Hey, this is a musical version of Viking Stories. There's been so many of you asking me to talk a little bit about music, Viking music, and a lot of those who have asked, oh, you guys, you know, of course, that there's a great Viking revolution going on in terms of music. And I mean, modern day Viking music, but also pagan music, of course. We got bands such as Heilung and Vardruna. Wardruna, of course, this Norwegian artist who's made music for the Vikings TV show. And there's so many other bands coming out now. And today, I got a surprise for you because there's a new band coming from the way up in the Baltic Sea in Sweden on border to Finland, really far up north. And you got some really crazy people living up there. I really like it. They're connected to nature. At least that's my impression. And this band is called Hulkoff, and we're going to have an interview with the main guy in Hulkoff. His name is Per Hulkoff in just a few seconds. Though I would like to say something first about Viking music, because I hope you realize that 1,000 years ago, music among the Vikings were a little bit circular in the way they made music. Not like today with a linear production and everything. Something happened in the 13th century with the church deciding how all music should be made, which has given us a great opportunity. We have some valleys in Norway, like Setesdalen. They're really isolated, and there we find some of the oldest melodies and also texts with melodies that go far beyond the Christian tradition of the 13th century. So this is really old music. And I know this musician, Halvard Bjørgum from Setesdalen, he actually found, he has a melody that's really old. It's one of these loose bass melodies and where you're hitting, it's called, you're hitting on the bass, basically. And we got a few of those melodies, and they're all circular. They're made to go into trance. And this is really cool. And the main melody that I'm talking about is called The Story of the Shield Maidens. And he was inspired by Thor Heyerdahl a few years ago. He traveled to the Caucasus region, far, far east, almost as far east as the Vikings went. And there he played with some of the nations of the Caucasus region, top folk musicians. And it's a pretty cool story. They actually sat down and jammed all these old melodies. And suddenly they played the same tune. And Halvard, he played the story of the Shield Maidens. And you know what the guy this was in Azerbaijan, you know what he played? He played the story of the Amazon warriors. And the theme and the story in these two melodies, they're the same. And Halvard has done a lot of research on different traditions and how old these two melodies are, and he's concluding that it's the same melody. This could, of course, be through trade in the Viking Age, and it could be older also. Who knows? All we know is that the Viking music was much, much older, and we have some remnants of it. And bands like Hedningarna, the Heathens, Swedish band, if you know this, they were the first one to really do something with that. And I'm going to put some links down below of all these bands that I'm recommending. And after the interview with Per, I'll show you a little bit from his music and some from especially Heilung, I'd love to, and maybe Wardruna. I'll show you some of those too also. Since they have Norwegians in the band, we can't just talk about Swedes when we talk about Viking folk music. So here we go. Here's Per. There we are, and I'm going to talk in English now. So, Per Hulkoff, welcome. I'm very thrilled and honored to be able to interview you because you've just released some really, really good music, I think.
Oh, thank you, Sturla. I'm the one who's honored. It's a true honor to be on your channel here, and that's correct. We have just released a new album called Panzerfolk, which is full of history-influenced folk metal music.
And you're from the north in Sweden, right? Close to the Finnish border. So you have maybe a different tradition than many Swedes have from southern Sweden and stuff. Because I imagine you're much more closely connected to nature, for example.
Well, I think so. There are people in the south of Sweden who are connected to nature as well, of course.
Yes.
But I think, generally speaking, up here, it's a long way between the houses, you know, and people learn to be close to our surroundings, you know, the forests and the fields and the rivers and all that stuff.
That's the same experience I've got here out in the Western fjords. There are not too many people living here, and it's quite nice because we have a very, very tranquil or okay distance to the nearest cities. They're far away, and that really resonates. And I guess it resonates in your music also, right? How long have your band, Hulkoff, how long have they or you existed?
Well, me personally, I have existed for 40 years now. But this band, or what I should call it, you know, it's a pretty new thing. I've been playing with a lot of other bands throughout the years. The best known is a band called Robtir, who was touring a lot and selling a lot of records here in Sweden. Nowadays, I'm doing this more or less as a solo thing, but I've got these boys who play on every album and who kind of sticks around.
And you got some really good artists also joining you, right? Wasn't there someone who's played, was it Yngwie Malmsteen also?
Yeah, Anders Johansson, who plays the drums. He used to play with Yngwie Malmsteen and Hammerfall and Manowar. Yeah, he's, you know, he's a legend. He's a living legend. He's a Viking in every sense of the word. He's been around the world and he's been playing those drums for, you know, a long, long time. And he's the best of them all.
So the thing is, I just found out about you not too many months or weeks ago because of this new album. Folk, is it?
Yeah.
And I should have known about you beforehand because you made a song last year. Was it called Skit? About the
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I've been in my research, I've been working with Saka in Kazakhstan, and that's actually Skythians, not the Saka you can read on Wikipedia. And I know we have a lot to talk about because I know your interest is in these Indo-European roots and Germanic roots, and also what happened before the Viking Age. Also, everything is not Viking, right? But in this Panzerfolk, I feel a lot of the songs are really talking to me. I mean, you have a song about Ingvar, and that's the guy who traveled, the far traveled, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to show an excerpt. I'm going to show something from this video because I think it's so cool. You have this lyrics version on YouTube, right? I'm going to show some of it afterwards if it's okay. And you have a double album, right? It's a Swedish version of all the songs, and then you have a Vinland edition, right? Vinland.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, and people can go on YouTube. I'll put the links down below, and you can see some of these texts. And the Varangian, for example, the Varangian warriors, the Viking warriors. That's really a great song, I think.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, hailing from Sweden, it's always really interesting to look at what the Vikings did traveling eastwards. East is that direction from where I'm sitting right now. So I've, that really resonates with me, you know, just that traveling eastwards. There's something magical about it.
Yes, of course. And I have to say, there is one song on the Hulkoff album, Over Dead Man is the English name of the song. And there you take something from Håvamål. The Tale of the High One. This is Odin's, what we remember as sayings from really, really old times, pre-Christian and everything, right? And it's a little bit more mellowed down music because your music it's metal, right? You call it folk.
Yes, it is. Excuse me. One more time.
Folk metal, would you say?
Folk metal, yeah, because it's a mix between folk music and metal. So we call it folk metal. And, you know, The reason why the album's name is Panzerfolk is because the music I usually play is called Panzer Rock here in Sweden. You know, armored rock.
That's right. Yeah, and I've been thinking about your music like some sort of Viking power metal, but I guess Viking power metal sounds a little bit off. But Viking power metal is what I've been thinking. But folk metal is maybe a better word for it. And I really recommend everyone to check out the songs, and especially this Over Dead Man song, because that's a song that really talks to me. I really like the lyrics there because you're able to talk about not only our heritage, but our, I guess, even duties and obligations to our ancestors, right? Is that something that's important to you personally, I presume?
You know, it's everything to me. That it's the one thing that I hold as the most sacred thing of them all, is that we have to realize that we are only guardians for a short while here on Earth. And it's not up to us to destroy everything, you know, that our ancestors built for us. We have to preserve it. We have to take care of it. And we have to think twice before we do stupid things that really, you know, destroy everything. My son is everything for me. You know, he's the reason why I wrote that song, and he's the reason why I do what I do and keep on doing what I'm doing. And it's really, really important to me that what I leave behind, you know, is not something that makes his life worse. It has to make his life better, because we have always inherited a world that was better after our ancestors. And now when we're gone, I think we should leave the same thing.
That's a really nice message. And that also is very similar what you're saying there to what my father worked really hard all his life to give me a better life. And I got 3 kids now, and it's the same for me, you know. And as you say, guardians, that's a really good word to use in this when we talk about it. Yeah. And
The story.
yeah, what kind of response have you got? Because I saw that. Is it true that this song "Skit," which is not on the Panzerfolk album, is a previous single, right? But it's aired, was it 1 million times on Spotify now? Just now?
The streams on Spotify. Yeah, that's 1 million times now. I mean, this Panzerfolk album, the reception has been marvelous, incredible, you know, in every way. And I'm moved deeply, you know, within the spirit, because the way people have reacted and the things I heard, and just seeing it climb on the charts. I mean, even to the big chart, we got to place number 8 in Sweden. That's included all the popular, you know, music that is all the time. We topped the metal chart, number one on physical sales and stuff like that. So it was really mind blowing. We had never ever anticipated such a thing.
But Per, this is exceptional, right? I mean, obviously there's a market, but I mean, number 8 in all that strange, among all those strange other artists and that kind of music.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to introduce you to a lot of my international viewers and all you guys there. I mean, you got to check this music out. I'm putting the links down below, of course. But what do you think, Per? What do you think is the main reason for this demand, this suction that you feel people are sucking your music into them, into their hearts or souls, or connecting their own roots through your music? That's what I feel in a way. Is this something you have thought about?
Yes, I have. And I think you just sort of pinpointed what it's all about. I think it's about rootlessness, you know, and finding our roots again. It's super important. I think that without roots, you know, a tree without roots will fall in the wind. But if the roots are strong, we stand against the storm, you know. So I think that's a really good thing. If people can actually reconnect with the roots through the music that I'm making, you know, even if it's only one person who does it, it's an achieved goal.
And you're a pretty you like playing live, right? I mean, your band is So you're planning to do a lot of that in the next year, maybe.
Yeah, we were planning on doing that, but you know the situation around the world. It's really, really difficult to plan any tours at the moment. I had this big tour together with my brothers in Sabaton. We were going out together and doing a lot of dates, a big Swedish tour, but I'm afraid it won't happen. I don't know yet, but it's too soon to tell, but I'm a bit worried, I have to say.
Right. Well, I hope this helps, that people can find your music online. And what you're saying with roots, I think this is something we could do now, since we all are living so much online now. We have to, with all this COVID-19 situation, everything. There's so many lockdowns around the world. I have nothing here of COVID-19 where I'm living, but I've moved out of cities 2 times in my life, but I moved far away from cities to regain my freedom and connect with my roots and my past and find my inner strength. That's part of the reason why I've done this. And then to find this lockdown situation all around the world, and we can still live a totally normal life here, more or less, I would say 95% normal. It's just crazy. That's sort of also one of the reasons why I moved away, right? And I guess that's also why you live in the north with your family, I guess, huh?
Of course. I've never wanted to move away from here, because of that freedom that you're talking about. I mean, we have everything. We have meat, we have fish, we have potatoes or whatever, if you want to eat those stuff. I stick to meat and fish because I like that. But I mean, it's freedom. We have trees for firewood. We have everything, and no pandemic or flu or whatever will change anything here. We just keep on living like we always have. The one thing that's changed is the tours. I usually go touring, but it's not something that affects my survival, but it's something that affects my happiness a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. But you can take your bow and cross the Finnish border and go bow hunting, right?
That's right. Yeah. But not at the moment, because the border is closed.
Of course, you can't have to shoot from the sea.
How close to the border do you live? Poor me, Sturla, I have to hunt with a rifle now.
Really, I see. Yeah. How close to the Finnish border do you live in Sweden?
Well, the border is not far from here. It's I think to the Finnish beach is a little bit over a kilometer, something like that. We have the Torne River running in between, so I see Finland every morning.
That's really far north, and I'd love to come and visit sometime. Absolutely.
You're welcome anytime, brother. Anytime.
So what I'm going to do now with you guys watching here, Pat and I, we have a little bit more to talk about in history-wise. So actually, we're going to disconnect here because this video here is about music, and I wanted to introduce you. And now I'm going to show a little bit of Varangian song and maybe the Ingvar song also, and talk a little bit about a couple of other bands like Wardruna and Heilung, and we'll finish off this video. But with you, Pat, I would love to continue a little bit because I'd like to hear more about some of these roots that you were actually able to portray in your songs. So maybe we can do that in just a bit, and I'll just say thank you to Pat, to everyone who's been watching. I'll put the link down right up now for the next video with Pat and me if you want to listen to Pat asking me questions about our roots, and we'll do that for a short video there also. So thanks, Per, and I really want to buy an LP, a double LP from you, and I think I should encourage more people to do that because this is a treasure that I'm introducing to you guys now. So thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Sturla, and thanks to everyone who's been watching this stuff. May the gods be with you all the time. Stay safe.
Wardruna, primarily this Norwegian guy, Einar Selvik, he's doing a lot of great stuff, and he was kind of like the forerunner in this great new wave, I guess, of pagan music, Viking, all different kinds of ancient music coming out now to all corners of the world. And he's coming with a new album now in January, I believe. And there's a new single out tomorrow. So that's what I showed you a little bit of because it just came now. So I got to show you something. But also, I need to tell you a little bit about Heilung. That's a Danish-Norwegian duo. But whenever they're on stage, as you can see here, I'm going to move myself a little bit to the side here, as you can see here. They're awesome on stage. I'm really awesome. And all the people I know who's been at their concerts, and I've seen also when they had a tour last year in the US. Man, it was crazy. Everything was sold out. They're sacrificing a woman on stage. She's not dying. She's resurrected by this goddess, and that's the singer, the Norwegian singer Maria, and especially this one song. Listen to this. It's just so great. And I'll put the links down below, and you can check it out. I've also put some in the comments on my webpage if you, on this YouTube channel. I'm sorry, you can see there also. And I hope you really enjoyed this small talk about Viking, pagan, Nordic music, and the great wave we're feeling at the moment. It's almost like the new wave of British heavy metal, almost. So take care and stay strong.